Boy, oh boy, this has been an absolute freaking crazy time. We have banks collapsing left and right. We got the HEX price dropping now. Richard Hart announcing new stuff. So, guys, it has been a crazy March so far starting in 2023. Let's take a look real fast at actually how HEX is doing. And then, of course, in this video, we're going to be diving into a lot more information about the bank collapses as well. So, check this out because my, oh my, HEX had just recently almost topped around 9 cents. This is as of yesterday, and within 24 hours the HEX price has already gone from 9 cents already down 12% today, and right now down 15% all in all. Now, is this because people are taking profits? Is this because people are waiting for the launch of PulseChain? What exactly is the reason? And that's what we're going to be trying to dive into in this video right now. So what I anticipate a lot of people had done, and I had said this a few videos back, was there's a lot of traders in the community of HEX right now, especially within the HEX token. And what I mean by that is you had the ability where people were recently buying here at 5 cents and they were able to make a good 72% profit within the span of 4 days. Now, for some folks that doesn't mean anything. To some folks, they don't even wake up out of bed for less than a 10x, for example. But for other folks, this is actually a massive opportunity for them to do swing trading. Now, there's a lot of folks in the ecosystem who are not staked, who are not mining, who are not minting their own HEX. So at this point in time, when they see these trades happen, it is inevitable that they will take profits, guys. That is what they are in this game for, and this is when greed starts catching up, where people start getting a little too greedy here at this 9 cent level. And again, we kind of saw that coming because of everything happening recently. We had the announcement of the banks collapsing, and that was the signature SVB, and of course with them and Silvergate as well. With all these banks collapsing right now, it more or less kind of pushed people back into crypto, which is kind of funny because they were all crypto backed banks, or crypto supplied banks, if you will. So they were supplying some loans and stuff for people in the crypto ecosystem. So it's funny that, you know, the money is now coming back into crypto again, and this is a true DeFi crypto as well. Now, we also had the depeg of the USDC over the weekend, just on Friday. So starting Friday, there were some announcements that that Circle had roughly about $3.3 billion in the SVB bank. And with that said, with the collapse of their bank within the span of 48 hours, which is just mind-blowing, let's just be real about that real fast, then at this point in time, people freaked out, myself included. I didn't want to hold the USDC stablecoin anymore. If you aren't stable, if you aren't actually pegged to a dollar, even through market crisis and crises, then what do I hold you for? I don't want to be a part of it. So I took a little bit of a 3% haircut loss just to make sure that I could move that back into the cryptos of my choice and ERC20 of my choice. Mine was HEX, and other people have started to do the same. Now, we recently have had people taking some profits. We are still very bullish at this time. Why? Because there's so much announcement happening here within the next few days. In fact, there's still more buyers than sellers, and this has been the case every single day for the last year. As a matter of fact, if we go all the way back, and I can't show it on here, but we can go all the way back and look back 1 year, and what's funny is there's been essentially more buyers than sellers every day. Now, in terms of dollar value that they're selling or buying, that can fluctuate. And of course, on days where we see that red candle, that just means people are selling more in dollar value than the people are buying. But there are, in fact, still more buyers at this time. And you can see that right over here, 255 buyers versus 221 sellers. So this is still the case every single time. And of course, we have to be mindful of this as well. So what does this really mean all in all for HEX and what we are looking at here in the very near future? Well, Richard Hart also just came out with another tweet today where he actually stated that, you know what would be better for, you know what would be really decentralized? Another Ethereum. You could call it PulseChain. Testnet V3 coming soon. Now, Guys, we've talked about this as well. I do anticipate that PulseChain does launch, or at least V3 testnet does launch sometime this week within the span of up to Sunday. And I think at this point in time, they're waiting for the Aragon to sync. That's already completed. We were waiting for the blockchain index. I believe at this point in time, that's also completed. So when he says PulseChain V3 coming soon, especially after the tweet he gave HVID yesterday in regards to everything happening, it was just an overall funny indicator. Now, of course, he still likes to show off how HEX is outperforming Bitcoin. Everyone was so excited with Bitcoin rallying up 57% or whatever it was, whereas like HEX and most other cryptos at this point in time have already gone and done a 5x since the beginning of the year. So Bitcoin being up, you know, it's just kind of laughable that that's something that they're still kind of boasting about. And again, we can kind of see here, if I just take a look real fast against the Bitcoin versus the dollar real fast, and let's just take a little gander at how they've done since the beginning of the year so far. This is on a weekly. Let me put this on a 3-day. I'll put it on a 1-day for now, and go back to the beginning of the year. So starting in 2023, I mean, it's not much. It is laughable, folks. And I pulled this up just to make it, you know, known for everyone. But they've only gone and done a 60% from bottom to top so far this year. And again, in terms of like crypto gains, that's, you like I said, some people don't even wake up out of bed for less than a 10x. So the fact that people are bullish on Bitcoin again is more or less just kind of laughable, because overall you can see the grand scheme in the market right now, people are definitely more bullish on even like, let's just take a look at Ethereum real fast, just for fun, real quick, just so I can actually see. So ETH versus USDC, for example, doing the same exact move. Now Ethereum is very correlated, I must say, to Bitcoin. I have to say that. So from January all the way up to where it's at right now, it also only did a 50% increase. So I see a lot of folks are talking about moving into Ethereum, moving into Bitcoin. Guys, now is the time you should be looking into your actual favorite altcoins. Mine that I love is going to be HEX. This is where you can see, again, we'll do that same measurement just so y'all can kind of get a gauge from January 1st all the way up to the high, a 390% gain, which is essentially a good 5x return on your money in the last 60-70 days. So I just find it funny that people are like, move into Bitcoin, because we're past that point. You know what I mean? Do I think Bitcoin can still go on and, you know, hit 50K again and hit 100K again? Sure. But in order for it to see the same gains that HEX has already seen within the last 70 days, it would in fact have to end up hitting somewhere in the ballpark of about 80 to 100K just to see the same gains. And guys, I'm in crypto to make money. I don't know about you. So not financial advice. This isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You got to do your own research, boo-boo, and be a big boy, a big girl, and make your own decisions on what this is. But guys, is this all really a setup right now? Like, are the banks failing a thing that just happened out of nowhere? Is this coming out of the blue? Is this actually a reason as to why the banks are failing? And guys, I think the feds are really starting to push this whole CBDC, and they're trying to make this as favorable as they can. So recently they did a backstop where they basically covered any unlimited deposit for any depositors in terms of the SVB bank, because it was the second largest bank collapse since 2008. Now this is a massive bank as well. Well guys, there's more bad news on the road. There's more bad news coming, and if you haven't heard about it just yet, there's another bank that is even bigger, and I'm talking about probably about 2.5 times bigger than SVB, that could potentially be looking to collapse very, very soon. And that bank that I'm referring to right now is Credit Suisse. Guys, Credit Suisse is on an absolute drop right now. The stock has already slumped and triggers close monitoring by regulators. Now, this is coming after every single item has already happened. Credit Suisse shares have already slumped by as much as 30% after its largest shareholder said it could no longer provide further support, prompting the Swiss bank CEO to make new assurances on its financial strength. Everything's fine. Guys, we've heard this so many freaking times, and if you hear anybody say that, like, President Joe Biden just recently came on and did a 5-minute discussion after the second largest bank has ever collapsed. He did a 5-minute discussion and said everything's fine. Now, I think there needs to be way more reassurance, and clearly there was not any reassurance in that regard. We've heard this statement so many times. If 2022 did not teach you anything, when you hear somebody say everything is fine, it is far from it, guys. Look at this. Credit Suisse has been on an absolute drop over the last 5 years, and this could have been seen from a long time ago, but it has been nothing but dropping. And right now, the value is not looking any better. We have definitely undermined the confidence of investors. We're down about 17% in early afternoon trading after shedding about as much as 30% to a new record low. Does that sound fine to you? It definitely does not sound fine to me. In a sign of regulatory that authorities are tracking developments, the ECB officials contacted lenders it supervises to ask about financial exposures to Credit Suisse. Meanwhile, Credit Suisse falls in market value prompted action among the politicians with French Prime Minister and of course a whole bunch of other folks trying to come up to basically help this out and make sure that we can get this under control, because at this point in time it is far from under control, and if this bank collapses, we are going to see one of the largest bank collapse in the history of mankind. And this just further proves a reason as to why you want to make sure that you are taking care of yourself first. Do not listen to these regulators and these people talking about everything's fine, because it is far from it at this point in time. We are so far from it. This is a further push from the government and from the US and just everyone in general trying to get us away from banks and into their CBDCs, or centralized banking digital currencies. Now that just gives them even more ability to control what's going on. They can access even more, they can limit even more, they can pull even more money. It's just furthering their methods to get this done. So I am paying close attention to it, because I guarantee we're going to be looking here by the end of 2023, the US coming out saying, hey, we got the solution for these banks failing, folks. It's going to be this CBDC. We'll give you whatever it is. And we've heard some people speculate that, how can they get it switched over? They're going to offer people a premium to get it switched and all this other stuff. But at this point in time, the Swiss National Bank declined to comment on the fallen shares to the Credit Suisse shares. Now, this is not good, folks. Not good at all. Like, this is definitely some bad news bears situation, and it just further kind of proves, what are you gonna do if your bank also goes under? Are you in a situation where you are insured? Are you in a situation where you are covered? Because right now it only looks like the top 8 banks are gonna be really covered in terms of true backing, but there's very limited Federal Reserves to cover if a full entire bank run does happen. So I'm sure they're trying to stop all this bank run from happening. I'm sure they're trying to say that everything's good. They're trying to promote, faith within everyone. And guys, it is just an absolute wild freaking time to be in this market. So be cautious with your money, do your research and see what makes sense for you, because there's a certain point in time, that a certain threshold, that your bank could just go under, and that would absolutely devastate the US. We got Fed rates probably still increasing their rate hikes. That's going to be coming on the 22nd, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, from the government, or from Jerome Powell, where J Powell is going to be coming out saying, hey, we got another 25 basis point increase during all this, while everything is absolutely collapsing, because they can't take stuff and look at it from the present value. They look at stuff from a month ago and see how the conditions were then and try to make decisions based on what happened a month ago. So I don't believe that they're going to be pausing rate hikes at this point in time. Even with all of this, this just further gives them reason to increase the rate hikes, because they probably end up wanting the banks to fail without saying that. They probably want some form of failure so they can come and be the knight in shining armor with their CBDCs and saying, we have the solution. come follow us and we'll make sure you're covered and protected. And I think that point in time is coming in the very near future. Randy Alarski's been talking about that for forever now at this point in time, it seems like. And you know, the more you just start seeing these banks fail and these collapses happening and these financial institutions all going under and all being over leveraged, and yet they tell us don't leverage and we stay out of margin and all that good stuff. Well, this is exactly what the banks are doing. While they aren't necessarily over leveraged, their treasury bonds got absolutely decimated from the interest rate hike. So some of them are locked in at this 1% rate or 1.75% rate, whereas the federal rates right now and the interest and inflation right now are sitting in like 4.8. You know what I mean? So, and then the 2-year treasury bond is offering stuff like 3.9, and the 5-year treasury bond's doing other stuff. So like, why would you go with the one that's offering 1.75 when it can't even beat inflation? This is what the banks are all running into. And now they've essentially created a program for that way for 1 year, all these banks are going to be able to trade in all these terrible assets. And guys, the chaos that's happening is real. I'm keeping my ear to the ground because I'm listening to what's going on, and I'll share, of course, what I hear, but it is not looking freaking pretty at all. So let me just be very clear on that real fast. What's up, Pierce ETH? How are you doing? Deploy the likes on entry. What's up, Crypto Military Vet? Let's get started on the jokes early. Where my boy Alan? I don't know where Alan's at. He missed the stream. He didn't get the notification the other day. Hey, Gloria, what's going on? You were early today. I'm switching up my stream time to 1:30 Central Standard Time. Toilet paper hands. Less than mediocre results. RH was active today on Git Lab. Hey, we're going to be checking that out as well. What's good? 5555. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Hexicans? John Trotter driving through Round Top, tuning in for some ATX. Deploy the likes on entry. Absolutely, folks. Crypto Gains Club, what's up, what's up? Nice hat. Appreciate that, my friend. I was thinking the same. Where did you get your merch, Hex merch at ATX? So I did some Hex merch purchase a while back. Of course, majority of it is, you know, what is it, hexmerch.com or something like that. If I'm not mistaken, was where I got some of the items from. And there was another one that I did just recently, and I can't remember. This is probably like a year or two ago, but I probably ended up getting through the hexmerch.com if you just had to keep it simple. And yeah, we'll make it simple like that. So let's take a look at the Git Lab and see what's going on. Folks, the stream will be a little bit shorter today. I am going to be making some videos for my Patreon peeps. I'm going to be going through explaining setups on MetaMask, staking ladders. I'm going to be making videos on the profit taking calculator and everything as well. So if you would like to see some of those videos come through, you can check out the Patreon link down below. And there are different options. One is a $5 a month option, gets you access to all of the spreadsheets. Another one, if you're looking for one-on-one consultations as well, for 55 bucks. So check them out. Be more than happy to help anyone out looking for that as well. Taking a look over here at the Git Lab, we refresh the page. We got 3 Commas Capital active as always. Brett Paulson, March 14th. Gamma DevOps, March 13th. Kyle Barr. There you go. Richard Hart, my boy Richard Hart, that man right there. Look at that, beautiful dude. And so I had said, because he had not been active since March 9th. He was active every day beginning in March and stopped on March 9th. He didn't get on GitLab, and granted, it just means that you just get on when you get this done, and I get that. I understand what activity means. But what's crazy about it is the chances that stuff's being done, stuff's being built, and stuff's about to be ready are that much more likely when you're actually seeing the man Richard Hart hop in there, because the devs are going to do their thing and they're going to work through their own issues, and when stuff's ready to be actually looked at and perceived by the actual person who's going to be launching the token and the chain and everything, then that's when this gets excited. So if he's hopping on GitLab, it is bullish freaking news, folks. And this just means that once again, it just further kind of stands to my point right now that we could in fact be seeing somewhere in the ballpark of PulseChain launch this week, or at least should I say testnet. Let me clarify. Testnet v3 launch, which will be the final testnet, as Richard Hart said, within this time frame. So It is going to be an absolute crazy freaking time. Susan Art is dope for Hex merch, by the way. Yeah. I need to check out Susan Art. You know, she's definitely a bull right there. She's definitely a goat when it comes to her work. She has the brilliant, you know, bedazzled, bejeweled. I don't know exactly what the terminology is called, but she makes some phenomenal stuff. And you know, maybe we'll end up getting some merch from her or something like that. Maybe like a hoodie or something like K4K has or whatever. We'll figure that part out when the time comes. But guys, I just wanted to share this information with you. Again, this video will be shorter than usual. I hope that captures a lot of information. Keep your ear to the ground on what's happening. Banks are collapsing everywhere. I'm gonna go make some videos for the Patreon guests and supporters of the channel, and I hope everyone has a fantastic day. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.